Bum bum ba bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum ba. Dating advice from 1904. Rule number 7. Do occasional penance. It is good for the soul. Make the saddest girl in the room feel that she is the most attractive while you are talking to her. Or dance during evening with at least or dance during the evening with at least one ice wagon. Welcome. Save at least one dance for an ice wagon.
What? Ice wagon?
Yeah.
What is an ice
I
wagon?
see that girl, but I have no idea.
A fat girl?
That's what I assume. Because like at the ice was like something for only the rich and pampered, and like generally only the rich and pampered were
So
fat. So
does that mean like one capable of toting ice? Like only like
yeah.
fat girls can actually like tote ice?
Yes, because historically speaking, ice wagons were quite large. Because the larger volume of ice you store together, the more thermal redundancy it has, so that you can
Well, yeah,
make that
I
ice
got a
travel for the
16 cubic
distance.
feet foot ice box in the basement, man. I gotta keep that steak on lock.
Ooh, Rule 10. Humor the athletic girl. Make her feel that she is the good one or the good fellow of her sex, but never imply that this masculine touch detracts from her feminine charm. In 1904, they were like, if you're going to go after the athletic chick, make sure to let her know that her athleticism is like not a bad thing.
Dude, there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing
I love
new
this
under the
book.
sun.
Live and love and wear. Welcome. Oh my goodness.
You get it.
Dude, I love old books so much.
Dude, what is this? What's the title of what you're reading?
This one is called The Fuser's Book, and it was published in 1904.
The Fusers or the Fussers?
Oh, it's FJSSERS book.
That's a J?
Yeah, I thought it was you, but no, now I'm looking at it. It's a J.
So
F,
is that like a Nordic Fusers? Is it something like that?
let us Google it, and we shall learn together because
All right.
I am now in.
What was that Idaho thing you were telling me to Google? Let me Google that. I'll pull that up. Google Owen Benjamin moves to Idaho Reddit.
Yeah, Owen Benjamin moves to Idaho.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
watching
In order for you,
nuts over the fact that they thought that he was just like taking everybody's cash, being like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make a big castle out in Idaho," and like all this stuff for like all the Bertaria and stuff and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, but there's like a legitimate reason. Like I've seen this shit. That's a good thing is I've actually I don't know, man. I've actually seen the utility in a lot of this stuff. I've seen this type of thing play out, and so I can't. It's so funny. I've just seen them fucking trip over their own shit, and it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing
dude.
when they fucking contradict themselves and they call themselves
Oh yeah,
retards. It's
that's just par for the course for the like gammas though.
exactly.
But Rule 16, make her care before you try to make her jealous.
Oh, that's good shit, bud. Oh,
Right?
that's
I think
good.
this is a serious, like, romantic advice book now.
But you know what? That's kind
Oh,
of
so
good.
Rule 17 has this picture. So it's like you see, like, their two together, and this dude is looking at another chick, right?
Dude, is that
So
meme?
Rule 17 is remember to always keep your eyes in the boat. Like, don't look at other girls.
Is that the meme?
That's a 1904
That's
meme.
no,
Holy
that's
shit.
that over the shoulder catching a glance meme. Dude.
From
That is
1904.
a
That's
fucking
glorious.
flapper. Oh, that is the bee's knees, motherfucker.
Dude, I'm just trying to find the short ones.
That's good.
Ooh, 23. Don't think because he sends you $10 bunches of violets at his own free will, he enjoys being trapped into car fare and soda water.
Tar fair.
Like, just because he sends you, like, little, like, fancy, like, shiny things doesn't mean he wants to be, like, trapped down into a, like, deep relationship.
What?
I think this is for both sexes. This is interesting.
That's some good shit. Tar fair.
Right?
Hey, can you break down tar fair to me? Where'd you get that from? I'm big.
So
I'm a
car
big
fare
word
was
guy.
something from the early 1900s and late 1800s. Car fare refers to trolley fare. So trolley cars that used to have, like, basically like modern day bus fare.
I thought you said tar. Like,
Oh no, car, CAR.
gotcha.
Oh, rule. What is this? They're all in Roman numerals. So this is 29, 30,
This
31,
better not be Rule
2,
34.
4, 35. Wait, is that?
This had better
Wait,
not be Rule 34.
31, 34. Oh, I'm missing a page. That's why. All right, here we go. Here we go.
You're kidding.
Not missing, but I was overlooking. Just forgive me. 35, 36, 37, 38,
No, I think Rule
39. All right.
40
All right,
and thing.
so
Like,
Rule 40, or maybe Rule 50, but either way. Oh, yeah, wait. 40, 30. Oh, yeah, it is Rule 40. Rule 40. But either way, it's the last rule in the book. Be chivalrous to all, but easy to none.
be what to all?
Chivalrous,
Chivalrous to all, but what to none?
but easy to none.
Good. That's a good point.
I think this is a serious book now.
Yeah,
It's got a
this
lot
is
of
on it. This is on it, man. That's some good shit. That's good. Who wrote this thing?
Anna Archibald and Georgina Jones. The pictures by Florence Wyman.
What's up, Bejo Bear?
Bajo Bear. We're just
Bajo Bear.
reading Dating Advice book from 1904.
Yeah, we got JapJap Bear going through a 100-year-old stack of books he just got from his mom's. This guy,
Bajo, you'll like. So I'll reread the last rule in the book because you'll like it, Bajo.
this boy's more.
Be shook to all, but easy to none.
Yeah, this guy's more legit than I would have assumed.
Well, because like the first rule, I thought it was a joke, but then the more I read, I was like, whoa, this is actually serious dating advice book.
What was the first one again?
The first one was rule number 1: hypocrisy. Thou art a jewel. Pick out what you and the girl know to be her worst points and ask her if she minds your mentioning your admiration of them.
Huh?
So it's like, find the worst aspects of her character and ask her if she minds you complimenting the worst aspects of her character.
You know, it depends on what angle you go at that from. That can be either great or terrible.
Well, now, given I have more context on the rest
Yeah.
of the rules,
Yeah.
I see that as a legitimate strategy.
Yeah. No
But
judgment by the cover.
when that was the only rule I knew, I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
Now I've read more rules, and now I know more, and now I want to read all the rules because apparently guys in 1904 were way better at picking up chicks in 2020 than the guys in 2020.
Who's the babbler? What are you talking about, Bell Reaver?
Bellweaver always assumes there's a babbler in the background.
Babbler in the background. Dude, that sounds like a good little theme. The babbler in the background. Like somebody's just always over your shoulder talking shit.
That's actually a really good title.
Fuck you say, bitch.
Well, to be fair, I said it first. You just noticed that it was a good title.
Dude, if that's the point, then Bell Reader, that's a good fucking that's great. Dude, okay, so JapJap. So
What's up?
So all right, I'll let you go first, but I'll bring up the subject. What's some like gravy you don't think like something you've come across that you think might be a new concept to a lot of people? Like some little like code you think you've cracked, some little thing you think you've noticed that's like aha or like a eureka or like a something where you're like, that's some shit people get tripped up on that might not be as complex as everybody thinks it is, or something akin to that, you know? Like I got one I brought up with this D Live chat, or not. Actually, I haven't even fucking subscribed to that shit. Like I gotta figure out the fucking lemon bullshit. But
Nice.
but I did actually get onto if you're on the Discord Bear Island, man, we could chat on there and stuff. Like that's been a good time for me here in the last like 2-3 weeks. So honestly, like some of the first.
So I've heard of this thing called Discord.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the hell it is.
It's ironic, man, because Discord means like bad communication in a sense. Discord means like disarray. So it's a very ironic name for a chat program. Like in the past, like gamers would use things called like TeamSpeak, and stuff like that, where it was more like unifying. But now they're calling shit like Discord, which means like disarray. But you know, there's a little bastion of sense in there. There's a lot of fucking memery and bullshit going on in there. Some good times.
So I've Googled it.
But
and Discord Bear Island says, "Welcome to Bear Island, a small uncharted territory near the big city of Atlanta. In this forest, two groups thrive: Red Paw and Dust Clan." This doesn't sound like this is what you want me to find.
I don't think that's it. Wait, what's paused? What are you talking about, Bell Reaver? Paused? He says
Scott,
Discord is
welcome.
proof HIV is real because that shit is paused. What's paused?
I assume paused
Ponzi?
is one of those gamer terms.
I bet it is.
Oh, but Scott, you'll like this. So I showed my mom this book that I bought that's over 100 years old, and she gave me like 15 or 16 other books that are also over 100 years old.
Well, however,
Yeah, more about
I'll
that.
send you a link. I'll send you. Oh, wait, what? Positive? HIV positive?
I don't know. Bill Weaver, make yourself more clear, man. I have no idea what you speak of.
Give us some more context, bud.
Yeah,
But
more context for
either
sure.
way, man, if you can't find the link, JapJap, I'll send you a link so you can jump in there if you want to do that.
All right.
It's a program. It has a desktop, and you can get on it on your phone. There's a bunch of chat rooms, and then there's like memes and bullshit, and then there's also you can jump on there with like audio and stuff, and that's been pretty cool. There's been some dudes that are great to talk to. It's nice to like sort yourself out. I've seen, you've heard about Owen being like, well, some of these other chat rooms have like turned into like gamma hives and bullshit.
Yeah, that was my next question about that.
There's a few people in there that are a little bit off base, but I think for the most part, for like probably the 80-20 rule applies here. But
That's good.
I think it's mostly good, and I've had a good time here, at least in the last 2-3 weeks. That's just been in there. So yeah, man, and that'd be a good way for me to keep up communication with you. I think going with what we just had here has been a nice time.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome to talk to you, and that sounds like a great resource.
Yeah, dude, it's been a good time. But yeah, like, so what's some shit that you think you came across that maybe like you feel like you might have to offer of like things from your own personal experience where you found some little tidbit of knowledge where you're like, oh, I've unlocked some of this or some of that, or finding some things like anything you've been.
One topic that I tend to know about quite a bit, way more than the majority of the bears that I come across, is first-hand knowledge from the spiritual realms. Like, there's a couple bears that I talk to. Have you ever heard of astral projection?
I've heard a little bit of stuff here recently. You ever heard of that? What is he called? Some little meme dude. He talks to a lot of kids, but he talks a lot about I forget what his name is. He goes live like all the fucking time. But yeah, so yes, but I've heard recently from some people that said that astral projection is just a terminology that may be like what me and my brother call a term that's quote injected, where it's something that may have a meaning, but then they give it a term where it gives it another meaning, or they kind of like sideline it and they kind of like give it like a fork in the road, and they go and they take control of some idea. I have gotten some evidence together and seen some logic to see that astral projection might be at least kind of a bullshit term. There may be some like validity to it because, okay, for me, I can walk through my daily life from my desk. Like I can sit here right now with my eyes open, looking at my screen or looking at the fucking desk or the wall and walk through my day and do some of that shit. And I think that's not too fucking crazy of a thing to bring up. But
we'll see.
But then it's like a thing of like how detailed or how many layers you can deal with. But then I think some people have sidelined the astral projection quotation to be something where it's like all hippy dippy type, somewhat bullshit. Where some people have some proof in it, or like some people have some validity in it, but some people are like, you're like, whoa, dude, I'm fucking so tripping right now. Type thing. You know what I mean?
So I understand where you're coming from. So you know how, like, this material plane is not all that exists. Like, there is 100%, there's like a spiritual reality that we don't have privy to on like the day-to-day.
Yeah, man.
And But just like with sex, there is a God honoring way to do sex, and there's a non
Yes.
God honoring way to do sex.
Yeah.
And like the reason why I use sex as an example is because sex is a very significant spiritual practice. And if you do it in a non-God honoring way, like outside of marriage, etc., then things can go downhill very quickly. But if you do it in a God honoring way, God tends to bless you and like make you fertile.
I
Um,
hate that.
and
I
so
hate the fact that I
astral
fucking
projection,
misinterpreted that shit in my past. I want to bring that
yeah,
shit
dude,
right in the future.
yeah, I made the same mistake for many
Oh
years,
man.
but now moving forward,
Yeah.
I want to save my for marriage.
Yep.
But that being
Yep.
said, is the reason why I use that analogy is because of the very potent spiritual nature behind that act. Astral projection is very similar, whereas astral projection is the non-God honoring way of this type of interaction with the spirit world. The God honoring way to do it, from my knowledge, is called spirit travel. And there are examples of
Like
it in the Old Testament where servants of God like wrote the words on the wall in the book of Ezekiel, and
yeah.
the difference in my
Oh, the guy that I was talking
earlier
about.
on in
His
my
name's
spiritual what's up?
the guy that I was talking about that was bringing up that point that actually kind of brought that point up to first was Martin Cabello. You heard that guy?
Never heard.
Okay. Well, he's getting like quite a following, and he's kind of cornering a lot of like he's getting like the younger crowd, and he does a lot of live streams, and he I don't know. I was just talking with Golden Ladle. You familiar?
Yeah, I've heard of Golden
Yeah,
Label.
yeah. And I was telling him how like he kind of half believes in him, and I kind of half believe in him, and he brings up a lot of good points, and it actually ties a lot in with that stuff that I was talking about with Firmamentalist, where he was
Well, does
actually
he preach astral projection?
huh?
Does he preach astral projection?
No, he was saying that astral projection was a term coined by CIA to kind of sideline the godly type thing.
False. So astral projection is a satanic term, not a CIA term.
Well, you kind of tomato in that sense. Like I would agree with you there.
So like where that dude is coming from is he's coming from the MK Ultra
Yeah,
CIA
yeah,
remote viewing program kind of thing.
yeah.
And while there is like definitely a lot of
Like I could see
evidence
that
for certain
happening.
aspects, like there's definitely evidence for certain aspects of those things like that are definitely going on within the CIA MK Ultra things. What I speak of, astral projection, is something that is more associated with the followers of Satan, and
Yeah.
whereas spirit travel is something similar but more potent and God honoring that is followed by a lot of Christians that I've met through my
Yeah.
journeys.
Golden ladle is half oriental. Whatever.
That's funny.
Wait,
Like what I'm saying is like yes, like what you and I speak of
yeah.
are both very
Yeah, I
similar,
think we're on the
but
same
just like
page.
slightly different.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're same page, same page. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's where me and my brother say or I introduced my brother to this term where I would call astral projection, I would call that injected, you know. Does that kind of ring any kind of sense where I would call it like someone injected
No,
that
so like
idea? Like it's like
the most well, so like the most base, I guess like
something from the
I can see
outside.
where you're coming from. I can see where you're coming from, but the most basic description of astral projection is as your spirit leaves your physical mortal body and goes off to have adventures in the spirit realm, your physical body is just an empty cup, which can like demonic entities can inject themselves into your physical cup, and because your spirit is gone off on astral projection, you don't have the
Uh,
organs to protect your body. So then when you come back, you don't
Oh,
even understand the negative demonic influences that have infiltrated you.
that's not.
And to contrast that, when you do engage in spirit travel, the Holy Spirit protects your physical mortal shell as you go off into
Oh,
the spiritual realms. That's the major
that's on a
difference.
whole nother. Thank you, bud.
Yeah,
Like that.
whole
No,
nother
that
level,
makes
bro.
sense. That makes sense. But yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that. That's no, yeah, that makes fucking sense. Because
Si, senor.
it's kind of like kind of like adhering to like the natural sense, the natural like law of things, to where it's like you're within accordance to like how things are, rather than like leaving
Yep.
a void to where you're like vulnerable. Whereas if
Well,
you're
it's
just
like
like,
if
I
right
want to see
now,
this thing of what's going on at 7-Eleven, where you're like, oh, you really want to? And then the fucking devil comes and fucks with your shit. Whereas,
I'll
whereas
give you
if
an
you're like, I
opportunity to
want
do
to, you
things,
know, like
there's going to be a price.
yeah,
Like I'm not going to tell you the price. Like I'll give you the ability to go travel the world in the spiritual realms and like do whatever the hell you want. But I'm just not going to
bro,
tell you the price that I'm going to take in return.
Bell Reaver, possession, possession, it has to do a lot with posing, which is orientation, oriental, orientation, like direction and material. Think about that.
Well,
If you think
are
you're
you
having
familiar?
kind of bullshit with possession, okay, I don't know if I've fucked with this, although I think I have.
Have you ever been possessed?
Me?
Yeah.
I
Like
don't.
if you so
So
you're questioning, so that's 100% no. You may have had some questionable
I think
situations,
I've had
but
some
if you had
shit
been,
where like I've
you
been
would.
fucked with, but I don't think I've been ever like fully taken control of.
All right. Yeah, so you know how water can either be like alkaline or acidic?
I've heard that the alkaline shit is bullshit because alkaline is actually bad for you. Acid is better for you.
Well, there's various medical arguments, but that's a whole different thing.
Okay.
This is just an analogy.
Okay.
So you know how water can be alkaline versus acidic, and there's a whole that like 7 point scale for that.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So think of your spiritual
Excuse
energy
me.
in a very similar nature, where if you go towards the more holy way, that protects you more against any sort of demonic activity.
Okay.
But the more sin you engage in, the more cursed the area you live in, et cetera, et cetera. There's various other spiritual aspects. But basically, the more negative that your life and the things around your life are, the more that allows the ability or the possibility of being demonically possessed. And one of the big
The more fucked you
misunderstandings,
act, the more fucked you get.
pretty much, and like one of the big misunderstandings of the Christians in America is they're like, oh, if you're a Christian, you're not going to get possessed. Like, no, false. I learned that firsthand.
No,
I
that's
was possessed for like
scales
five.
on scales.
Say again?
There's scales on scales on scales. It's all
Yeah.
see that's one thing where there is validity to what is that that bedheaded fucking scientist fuck. Uh
Well, so have you ever heard
there's
of a
validity
band
to
of
every
warring
scale.
demons?
Einstein.
Oh yeah, he's a retard.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a band of warring demons?
What?
A band of warring
That
demons.
sounds like a fucking bad day.
Oh, dude, call it a bad 9 months where after I was attacked, like oppressed or whatever by them for 9 months, not only was I crippled for 9 months and had to use like a cane and a full body brace,
Damn.
but I lost 35 pounds. And
Bruh.
when you look at the way spiritual things work, the attack on me by the band of warring demons was basically used to lower my spiritual like defenses, and apparently it took 9 months before other negative like demonic weapons were used against me that had other significant effects. And after months and months of me being assaulted, finally I was like my spiritual levels had dipped to such a negative point that I was literally demonically
So they've
possessed.
been,
And
been trying to fuck with you, man. You got them blades over there in the background at arm's reach, man. You got them in quick reach.
well, I mean, in addition to the ones
I
back
see
there,
that.
I also have a scimitar right here, and
Really
then
tripping.
I've got a K-bar right here,
Oh,
and I've got other knives in my drawer, like right there.
hey bud,
I have blades everywhere, bro.
hey bud, nice.
So at that time, so like looking back retrospectively, that was basically like my spiritual boot camp because
Oh yeah.
after that time where I was crippled for 9 months by this band of warring demons, then guy got temporarily possessed and just dealt with all sorts of other crazy shit. Then God gave me a choice. Do you want to continue dating this girl that you have already talked about starting to get married with, or do you want to serve me? And I
Oh shit.
made one of the hardest decisions of my life, and I chose to serve God. And within seconds after I made that decision, I felt more pain than I've ever felt in my entire life. I felt my heart break, and I heard it, like audible, like similar to a bone breaking. I heard my heart break, and it was such an intense amount of pain, like I can't begin to describe it. And very shortly after that, all of this like band of warring demons nonsense where I had me crippled, God just took it away, and I could literally walk the next day, like insta heal, literal miracle. And so God gave me like a couple of months to like do some physical rehab and shit. But then he started being like, "Hey, PJ," and he put it in my heart as like a whisper, like a silent, like a very quiet voice. He's like, "I need you to go to the mountains." And like I heard that in my heart for
Dude,
months. He,
dude, so
I need you to go to the mountain. What's up?
dude, so you want to hear some real deep shit? Like for a long
Let's finish.
time. Okay, so when you're talking about here with this possession and with problem with women and with like stuff being, like a woman kind of like pulling you towards some bullshit. I don't know, maybe
Well,
I've had some time where I've
woman pulling me
believed in some
towards
people that
bullshit.
maybe,
It was.
huh?
It wasn't a woman pulling me towards bullshit. It was I was distracted by the ways of the world, and God was tugging my leash in a very significant way.
Yeah, yeah.
It could have been any other woman. Like the specific woman was irrelevant, to be quite honest.
That's that's a good fucking point. Maybe that's similar to what I've had. Maybe I haven't looked at it from that angle. Oh, that's a good point. Um,
Like the source of your temptation, don't personalize it. Hurt people, hurt people. And God, according to Romans 8:28, uses everything for good according to those who follow, or they're called according to his purpose. So,
yeah,
like whatever the source of temptation is, like don't personalize it. Oh, this person was a source of temptation. No,
yeah,
God used that person to be a source of temptation to
yeah,
test you and allow you to grow. So don't have any hurt feelings towards that person. God
yeah.
was using them to help you to grow.
I have felt that in retrospect. Like and it's given a lot of people around me some fucked up feelings where I've learned a lot from people that have fucked with me. Like for instance, like this guy that I just had to cut out of my life from like my ex and things like this. Like I've learned a lot of shit, and I've realized that it was me. In a sense, like it didn't happen for no reason. Like it's not like they brought on all of these problems to me. It's like I had that vulnerability, and so yeah, I had to learn from it. I had to go through that gamut. I had to learn in that by that means to get to the next step, to learn that lesson. Um, because there's a lot of fucking validity to that point. I know how that goes, Aaron. um, yeah, that's a good point. What are we talking about just before that? What are we talking about just before that?
We were talking about how I got over the demonic possession stuff.
Yeah. So I don't think I've been. Yeah, I mean, I think I've been like
So,
tested a shitload, but I don't. I've never really gotten the feeling that I've been out of control. Like I
so
have
have you
actually,
ever
I have
heard of an
always
autoclave?
felt the feeling of like when I've done bad shit, I've felt the full guilt of being like I chose that, you know? Like in
Yeah,
a sense
I
where it
feel.
was like I ended up getting to there through a series of decisions, through a series of being of ignorance or something to where I valued some wrong thing more than the right thing.
Hmm.
And so
Well, possession isn't that. So like when I was possessed, what happened
this
was
is
I had like, I literally saw red,
whoa,
and even though just a moment before I was crippled and could not walk across the room without the help of like full body braces and a cane, like when this it, like sensation or whatever, this position, like once I was possessed, what it induced was I remember I grabbed my cane and I literally beat this massive wall or hole into the wall, and I exerted like all my energy. And when I felt I was so exhausted, like I had just drained everything, and when I looked down at my hands right here, it looked like something, like it was an exit wound of a bullet, like something had exploded out of my thumb,
huh?
and there was blood fucking everywhere,
What?
like so much blood, like even though it was a very small wound, there was blood fucking everywhere. And I remember just looking down at my hands, like, and like looking at the blood everywhere and looking at the hole, and like thinking like, PJ, what the fuck are you doing? Stop. And then like as my like as my body kept moving, I kept in my mind was like, stop, 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 like stop moving. But my body just kept moving. And I remember I grabbed my phone.
Whoa.
At that time I had an iPhone. It was in an OtterBox. And I walked out to this patio, and I remember I was fighting this, like the whole time I was just fighting this demonic presence to the greatest of my strength. And I remember I was holding my
All
phone
right.
and just looking at it, and I like my arm, my hand was shaking, and then I felt something grab my hand and rip it this way, and my phone flew like 2 or 3 feet into this wall. And despite the fact it was in an OtterBox, let me show you the destruction of this phone because I still have
Fucking
it. It's
splintered,
pretty, yeah, it's like, dude, in an OtterBox,
exploded.
and it only like 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah.
Like, do you see this destruction? This
Yeah,
phone is completely.
it's not terrible.
Oh no, dude! Like that phone is completely gone.
Well, yeah.
And so after that whole scenario, that's when I really began to dive into learning about the spiritual realities of this realm we live in, and it's been basically a nonstop adventure ever since. Like
Yeah.
I've been attacked by demons and physical servants of the devil on multiple occasions, and like just gotten away by the skin of my
Dude,
teeth. Like, dude, literally like a fucking adventure movie,
I think about
multiple times. Like,
the
dude, like
similarities
believe it or not,
of
one
serpents.
time I was in New Mexico, and I was driving into New Mexico at like really, really, really late at night, and I shit you not, I saw a zombie. Well, maybe not a zombie, but I saw a humanoid figure like huddled up on the side of the road eating roadkill. So it may have been a human on meth, but it looked like a zombie to me.
Dude, are you caught up on the gravy on fucking what? Dude, this cuts right over to the. Well, Owen's covered this shit. Like, have you ever been perplexed by the allegory of zombies?
Well, there's a multitude of definitions
Yes,
on what a
yes, there
zombie
are.
is.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. There's several subgenres on it, and fucking the media or the whatever, fucking the playwrights and the Hollywooders have taken a shitload of artistic whatnot
Like,
on that. Um,
have you heard about Haitian zombies?
in part, tell me your part. What do you mean?
So there's shaman witch doctors in the Caribbean islands that
Oh,
allegedly are able to raise the dead with like herbs and shit.
oh,
And like just from like a factual basis, that's my best hypothesis as to the source of zombies.
I
Because that's a factual thing.
that's that's some fucked up shit. I have heard a little bit of
Dude,
that.
yeah.
I've heard a little bit of that. But I think the majority of the allegory or the metaphor of zombies is those led by a false doctrine or those in like absurd need or those like so debased from like God's law or lore that
Well, so that's where you're taking the concept of zombie and taking it on a larger fractal level, which I completely agree with.
yeah,
But when you take that concept and break it down to a lower fractal level, there are literal zombies. But when you take it to a Zeitgeist, like top tippity top fractal level, you're right. Those people just on their phones all day long, like not knowing anything about the
yeah,
world.
misled.
Yes, allegorically, those are zombies. I concur on both
The
levels.
misled.
It's just those levels are very
Okay,
different from each
on the
other.
level you're talking about, do you think they can do that with people that are? Do you think they have to do that with people that are super debased, or do you think they're capable? Do you think they're even capable of doing that with people that are not debased, even if they're dead?
Yes, even with people that are not debased, they're capable of doing it because, like,
That's
despite the spiritual element in all man, like we're all created in the image of God, obviously. But if one does not have a strong spiritual connection to
that's
God,
what.
then you don't have to be especially debased to be vulnerable to demonic
But
entities.
what if
You just have to have a lack of a relationship with
so?
God, and that makes you infinitely more vulnerable to demonic
So
manipulation.
these Haitians, they do you think they have to find someone to some degree based or debased, or do you think they're even capable of doing it to someone that is non-debased or based?
So let's say, to answer your question, let's say
Do you think it's
hypothetically
like some
that
kind of
tomorrow,
chemical reference of their actual manifestation of their material realm? Fucking as some guys say, they're this fucking this surfer dude hippie that I like how he talks. He talks it about your space what is it? What does he say? Your space suit or your whatever. He calls us, our bodies as our space suits or something like that. So if someone has like a healthy spacesuit and has a healthy spiritual connection, do you think these Haitians are even capable of doing that to them, or do you think
yes.
that that's fucked? Really?
So let's say hypothetically tomorrow, I get captured by Haitian shamans that want to turn me into a zombie because of my belief in Jesus Christ, my level of faith, and various other spiritual um, like vectors. It's going to be very difficult for them.
Okay, that's
But given my knowledge of the human mind and the human psyche, it's just a matter of time before they feed me with enough drugs and torture me for long enough before they can literally shatter my mind. And then once the human's mind is shattered, like as you know, that's kind of like the bread and butter of the MK Ultra program.
okay. Well, I'm saying like if a holy man dies and a fucking Haitian comes across the corpse or the dead body, let's say,
Well,
they're gonna
then,
hard
like,
fucking.
if the Haitian comes across the corpse of a holy man, the holy man's spirit is no longer in the corpse. The tent, like the human body, is just a temporary tent.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, it's like once the
they're
spirit
gonna have a
is
hard
in
fucking
heaven,
time, right?
it's much no. Once the spirit is in heaven, the corpse of a holy man
Oh,
is
just
like fair
shit.
game to be used
Just
because the spirit
talking.
is no longer in the
You're
body.
just talking corpus shit.
Yeah.
Just fucking marionette type shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like there's historical records on that shit going back to the 1800s, bro.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I've heard that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fucked. That gets back to some of the shit where it's like, it's funny how many people say seeing is believing and stuff, and it's like, to a certain degree it is, but like there's a lot of shit that can be fucky with that.
Well, see, that's where I've got the benefit of the doubt on both points, where it's like I've read about these things, but most of the things I've read about, I've also seen firsthand, which is a very rare thing for most people.
Yeah.
Like, for a long time, have you ever heard the term skinwalker?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the laugh in your voice, just to show you my experience and my I guess bitterness towards them because of past experiences. Skinwalker, fuck you, skinwalkers. Like I've literally been in Native American territory zones or whatever, like in northern Arizona, and I've been camping and like I've been attacked by like
That's where you can see it in their
groups.
fucking eyes.
So, and I cannot I was in combat in Afghanistan, and being chased by skinwalkers is more terrifying than being in combat. I shit you not, bro.
I fucking unfortunately could imagine. Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry about your fucking experience there, bud. I fucking bless you for making it out as good as you are, man.
Dude, I've got 10 fingers and 10 toes. Both my ears.
There you go.
As of right now, I'm good to
2
go.
eyes, 2 ears, a nose, and a mouth.
Like, the fact that I saw what I saw on so many occasions, it wasn't just one occasion, but, like, on multiple occasions, like, I had exposure to those fuckheads, and I made it out alive. Like, dude, so the, Nick, welcome, brother. Like, I think
The what?
probably the third most scariest time was, one time God called me up to the mountains. He would whisper to my heart, PJ, go to the mountains. And it would be a very specific voice. And so I knew the difference between whether it's like, oh, I just want to go camping versus God's calling me to go here. And so like this one time, like he called me to go to the mountains, and I went up there. And once I got up to this spot where God dictated me to go, I really didn't know what I was supposed to do. And so I just kind of wandered around for a little bit. And then I just felt like the land was cursed. And so I just out loud in my like loudest combat voice, I just started shouting blessings, like blessing the land in the name of Jesus. And then after I did that for about an hour, I just kind of naturally went to, I remembered my natural anger towards skinwalkers. So I started specifically cursing skinwalkers in the name of Jesus. And after about 15 minutes of that, my hairs started to go on end. I got the goosebumps.
But my fucking legs, the hair on my legs is standing up right now.
Yeah. And so, dude, as I was doing this, like all my goosebumps, I was like, uh-oh, I've done something wrong. And like as I got that feeling, I felt God just whisper to my heart, make a circle around your car. Because like, dude, I'd driven off the dirt path, like into the middle of the fucking forest. And so I took my shovel and I made like this weird spiritual protection circle that I didn't quite understand. To this day, I don't understand it. But I made like a physical circle in the dirt with my shovel all the way around my car, and then God led me to specifically pray a specific prayer over the circle. And then, like, when I went to bed, everything was green, perfect, like springtime forest, like blah, blah, blah. I went to bed. I was woken in the night multiple times, and I heard something pacing around this circle. And, dude, when I heard it, I was terrified. Like, blood-chilling terrified. Every time I was woken, because I would wake up and I would hear something with a heavy footstep pacing around my car, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was terrified. And so then the next morning I wake up, and even though there was no weather reports of a storm or fucking anything, the next morning there was 6 inches of snow.
What?
Yeah. And so the next morning, so I make like the videos and like, what the fuck, like just document shit. Like I was freaked the fuck out.
Of fucking and snow in where?
In northern Arizona, bro.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It doesn't make logical, physical sense, but it fucking happened. I was there.
Fucking shit right there.
Dude, it gets even crazier. It gets crazier. So I drive back through the forest, and right before I can get back up onto the dirt road to get back home, or to get to the highway to get back home, it's this hill. And I try multiple times to get up this hill. I can't do it. I get out of my car. I spend 3 hours digging all the snow out. I get ratchet straps out, like do fucking everything.
Yeah.
My car is stuck. And so I text my mentor, who's in Texas, and I was like, hey, so I think I pissed off Satan. And I just let him know what I just did. And he's like, don't worry about it, bro. Someone's going to come to you in 6 hours. And I was like, what? He's like,
wait, what?
Just trust God. Someone's on their way. They'll be there in 6 hours.
Say that.
And I shit you not, 6 hours to the minute when I received that text message, this Native American dude, like apparently who was hunting turkeys, was just like he was in a white pickup truck at the top of the hill. He's like, hey man, like he knocks on my window because I'm just like reading the Bible because I'd already given up at this point. I was like, I'm just gonna wait and eventually I'll find a way out. And so he just knocks on my window. Hey man, are you okay? You look like you're stuck. I was like, yeah, dude, I've tried to get out like 1,000 times. And like, long story short, this like random dude who appears at the exact moment, like my spiritual mentor told me God said this guy would appear. Like he appeared, and he helped me up this hill, and then I just made it home safely. Bajo Bear, welcome back. And so like I've had tons of these kinds of scenarios where it's like, that's just beyond insane. And it makes no like physical sense, but like I literally watched it happen.
Yeah. That's fucking nuts, bud. That's dude. Dude, I've had okay. I haven't really had some stuff like that where it's super questionable, where I'm like, I don't really know what the fuck this thing is that's after me. But I have had, okay, maybe that's not quite right.
Oh, Bear, where's the video of the other guy? If you don't have a video and you can't show me right now, then you're a liar and it didn't happen. Fuck you, Bob Bear. I love you.
Picture didn't happen. No, but you know, maybe that's not quite true. Maybe I have had some fucking weird shit, but I have had a lot of like weird, spooky shit out in the woods. Like I've faced down some fucking predators, and it's always kind of funny because I'm always kind of like I'm always kind of like fucking try me, bitch, to that kind of vibe. I'm kind of like fucking.
Well, that's the masculine like role. It's like, oh, here's a predator, here's a danger, bring it the fuck on. You're here to test me. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's fucking go, bud. What you got? And that's kind of funny because like I,
Bajo Bear says he only sees a dirty JapJap. Well, Bajo Bear, all I see is a shaved toe or shaved Mexican that looks like a toe. Sorry, continue, brother.
I don't even know what's going on, but that's great.
Yeah, Bajo Bear is like one of like the classics. I fucking love him, and he recently shaved off all his hair, so I'm mocking him for that.
Oh, well, I hear there's some respect in that, but I like my hair. But but yeah, that's funny. Like I've stared down, like, I don't know the irony here with the symbolism. Like I've stared down bears and I've gotten the vibe of respect from predator animals, and I've gotten the vibe of I'm not challenging you from predator animals. Like I've stared down two, three bears within 100 feet. One of them was real fucking close, just round the corner type shit. And
Well, until you give one of those bears a hug, you're a pussy.
oh fuck, man, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking.
See, like
I'm gonna go.
you're not a real
Uh,
man until you can give a mama bear a hug right in front of her right in front of her
dude,
cubs, and then play with the cubs in front of the
you
mama
got
bear.
a fucking point there, bud. You got a fucking point there. That's next. That's next on the list.
I believe in you, and
That's
just
next
don't
on the
die.
list. But yeah, man, like I have had them hair raising instances out in the woods, or just like fuck, like out in the anywhere, out in the fucking, where I don't know lands type thing, where I'm like, this is new territory for me. Or out where I'm like, all right, I'm kind of lost. I can trace back to where I came from, but I don't know where I exactly am. And to where I'm like, okay, new territory. I'm in new grounds. These are new entities around me, and just been like,
You not bring maps of where you go?
I don't fucking
That's Explorer
I don't
101.
fucking roll.
If you have a map available to you of the area, bring a fucking map.
I don't fucking roll like that, bud.
Well, so yes, I understand reading maps is a dying
No, no,
skill,
no, 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 no,
but
no.
learn to read
No, I can
maps
read.
and bring them.
No, I can read maps. I Okay. So I go a little harder than that. I like reading maps. I'll do that when I can, but I love exploring raw. Like
So imagine the
I
ability
take God as
to
my fucking
explore raw
I
land.
take God as my
Like,
fucking map.
so if you without a map, you can go like one or two clicks before you get lost, and then like you might not be able to get back, and then you kind of fuck yourself. But if you bring a map and you can read a topographical map, then you can go like 15, 20 clicks into the middle of fucking nowhere, and then get back and like not risk your life unless you meet like some sort of like bear.
Well, see, the thing is I always kind of see. I haven't always known God by His name, but I've always kind of known
Mm-hmm.
God by His feel. In a way,
Mm-hmm.
and I've even doubted Him at times, but I've always kind of felt Him.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of roll like that. I kind of roll,
Yeah, I feel. I feel.
and so like, okay, if you try to fucking tell me how to get to some new store or some new dude's house or something like that, and you start telling me street names, I'm probably not gonna get there. If hail kinsman, but if you give me landmarks, I got it. And so that's how I roll. Like I I have that type of.
Pause. We've got 23 seconds left. Illuminati confirmed. But we will be right back for the third segment
All right,
of this evening, Late Night with Jab Jab.
all right, Jap Jap.
See you soon, brother.
See you in a minute.
End video.